Ladies and gentlemen, today I would like to demonstrate the process of programming an ESP32 CAM board. I have observed numerous complaints and issues raised by individuals online regarding the programming of this particular board. Hopefully this tutorial will assist you in successfully programming and operating the ESP32 CAM board. While you can find instructions for programming the ESP32 CAM board online, it is crucial to note that many of them are outdated and incompatible with the latest board revisions. Let's begin by addressing the absence of a USB connector on this board. In order to program it, you have two options. Either acquire another board specifically designed for programming, known as the ESP32 CAM MB board. There will be a link in the description for this specific board, or utilize an FTDI chip to establish a serial connection for programming purposes. For the purpose of this demonstration, I will be using an FTDI board that I purchased from Amazon, this specific one. There will be a link in the description for this board. The cost of this board is approximately $9. The FTDI board features 6 pins, although we will only be utilizing 4 of them. We will connect the ground pin on the FTDI board to the ground pin on the ESP32 CAM board. The VCC pin on the FTDI board will be connected to the 5-volt pin on the ESP32 CAM board. This is important. Do not connect it to the 3-volt because it will not work. This board requires more power. In fact, if you don't have enough voltage, like even 5 volts, it will not work very well. It will drop frames. Next, we will connect the RX pin on the FTDI board to the U0T pin on the ESP32 board. And lastly, the TX pin on the FTDI board to the U0R pin on the ESP32 CAM board. Now pay close attention to this crucial step, as many individuals tend to overlook it, leading to difficulties in programming the board and other errors. We must connect the GPIO 0 pin on the ESP32 CAM board to the ground pin. This pin should only be grounded during programming. After programming, this jumper must be removed, as failure to do so will render the board non-functional. With all the connections established correctly and power supplied, we can proceed to the Arduino IDE, which will be used for programming the board. Before we begin programming, we need to ensure that the correct board is selected in the settings. The Arduino IDE does not include the ESP32 boards by default out of the box, but adding them is a straightforward process. To add the boards, navigate to the Settings or Preferences menu and paste the following URL into the Additional Boards Manager URLs field. Click OK. This will download the ESP32 boards and make them accessible when we program the ESP32 boards. Now that we have the ESP32 boards in the Arduino IDE, we can start a new sketch, go to Tools, and we need to make sure that we select the correct board. So we will go to the Board menu and then ESP32, and then we will find the specific board that we're using here, which is the AI Thinker ESP32 CAM board. We'll select that, then go to Tools again, and then go to the Port menu and select the correct port. So in this case, I'm using my USB is connected to the FTDI chip and it's the USB serial port. So I'll select that. Now let's turn our attention to the code itself. For this example, I will be using a simple program to verify the board's programmability. The code causes the flash LED on the ESP32 CAM board to blink indefinitely. While this program may not be particularly useful, it serves to confirm that the board is correctly set up for programming. We are now ready to click the Upload button and proceed with programming the board. Let's do that and observe the outcome. Unfortunately, an error occurred, as we can see, and the reason for this error is that we need to press the reset button on the ESP32 CAM board, either immediately before the uploading message is displayed or right after the console indicates that the compilation has completed. Let's try again, this time with the reset button pressed. You may have noticed that accessing the reset button is somewhat challenging in my setup, as it is located underneath the board. Therefore, I will employ a small screwdriver to press the button. Alright, let's click Upload and evaluate the results. It appears that the program has been successfully uploaded. You may be wondering why the flash LED is not blinking, and the reason why is that we need to first disconnect the GPIO 0 pin from the ground pin, which, as you may recall, was only used during programming. And then press the reset button. And there you have it. The ESP32 CAM board has been successfully programmed. You can now upload a proper program onto the chip. The ESP32 board collection comes with some examples that you can try. One example has the web server, which lets you stream the video from the camera directly from the browser. I hope you found this tutorial helpful and enjoy your tinkering.